Hey everyone, and welcome in. Today we're talking about the new episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. That's season 17, episode 7. This was a good one, you guys. The opening is a little bit weird. They did so Gina and Emily were having a lunch and they were talking about the Montana trip. And as they were talking, they were sort of showing the flashbacks of the trip. So they were kind of like making it like a build up, I guess you could say. And one of the things that Gina says is that she's very upset at Heather and that Heather will definitely be hearing about this later. And then the episode actually starts with small glimpses of the women and their families having a good time, and then the actual first full scene is Shannon with her man John. They're cooking together, having a great time. I like seeing them together. They do plan on moving together once the kids leave for school, but they still have more work to do, obviously, in their relationship, and talk about it more. Shannon is also very busy opening up with all her businesses and expanding them, so there's a lot going in her world, but it is all very important. But in that little chat that she had with John, he did seem to suggest that he feels like she's kind of putting him in the back burner, so I did catch that. And then the next scene is Tamra and Emily going to the spa, and then Heather joins them as well. They talk about the trip. Emily asks how was Taylor, because she is getting to know her. She doesn't know her that well. And then Heather says, well, she called me condescending. She said all these things about me. And Emily says, well, to be honest, sometimes you are condescending. Sometimes you talk and it sounds like you think you're better than everyone and that your life is more important, and maybe you're just not aware of it. And I gotta give it up to Emily for being real and letting her know, because it is true. And at least she was upfront and she wasn't talking about her back, so I do appreciate that. And then they talk a little bit about it, and then Heather tells them that she's planning this dinner for them and she's inviting all of them. Moving along, Gina goes to see Jenn. This is why Gina is so weird to me. Like, if she gets so triggered by Jenn, then why are you hanging out with her? Like, it doesn't make sense. But I guess she had time to sort of think about it more, and that's why she went to go see her, to say that she does feel bad about how things sort of unfolded, and she doesn't want Jenn to think that she's walking on eggshells when she's around her. And Jenn does appreciate that, and that's good. But they do talk about Tamra and that whole situation, and Gina seems to kind of be agreeing that Tamra is wrong for what she did and for all the things that she's been saying. And I do think that Jenn is nice, but she was doing a little bit too much. Like, she was being a little bit too nice to Gina with all this, like, ooh, you're amazing, ooh, you're great, like, let's not get carried away. But I do think she was just really grateful that Gina is sort of making an effort to get to know her. Then the next scene, Emily is at her house. Her husband gets there from work, and Emily is showing him some pictures of when she was a child that her mom sent her. And that makes her talk about her mom and that she's been thinking about calling her so she can come over. And Seth agrees with that. So Emily goes upstairs, she gets on the phone and calls the mom, and she's crying a lot because the pictures made her very emotional, and she invites her to come over, and the mom says she would love to do that. And that's great. At this point, Emily just wants a really good relationship with the mom, regardless of what happened in the past. And then this next scene, Shannon takes her daughters to like some bougie store. They're calling it Off-Gassed. I don't even know what that means. But Shannon's daughters, they're actually pretty cute, I gotta say. I think they might be like a year younger than I am. But anyways, no, never mind. And then they talk about college. Shannon is saying that she would like them to get a college counselor to help them with their essays or something, but they don't want one. So Shannon is getting a little bit frustrated, but I think it's just her as a mom being a little bit extra. Then we move to the group event that Heather did for them, and they're on a boat. The first person that gets there is Taylor, and Heather does apologize for making Taylor feel bad, because obviously she did feel some type of way about it. But then I thought it was genuine, but in her confessional she was like throwing shade. I was like, really? And we do see a new face on this boat, you guys. It's a lady named Lauren, who's an acting coach. She's a black woman, and I hope that she is part of this group and we get to see her more, because she seemed pretty interesting. So that's going to be interesting to see going forward. But she did kind of come out of nowhere, though. Like, they didn't really introduce her. But all the women start to come, and then once they're on the boat, they eventually take off into the water. And then after that, they go to an actual restaurant, and Heather gives all of them a gift, and it's like even customized with their name on it. So props to Heather for being a good host. And then they begin to order shots and food, and then Emily says out loud, "What is the biggest thing that I missed from the Montana trip?" And somebody says, "Oh, Gina and Jenn sort of got into it, but they both say that they are much better now." And then it's inevitable. The drama comes up about Jen's past, her boyfriend, the D pic. Everybody's been talking about it. And Emily starts to ask if Jenn thinks that there are red flags in the relationship, but is she's maybe choosing to ignore them? And Jenn is saying, well, yeah, if he screws up, I would be upset and probably leave him. And Tamra jumps in and says, if he screws up, hasn't he already screwed up? So Jenn gets upset, and Tamra says she honestly doesn't think that he's going to be faithful, which I could see why she's saying that. And Jenn says, she also understands. She says, I agree. Not I agree, but I can see that. But you are consistently trying to put my business on Front Street. And then Tamra goes unhinged, like she likes to do. And she's screaming, he wanted to F me. Somebody told Eddie at some party to watch him because he likes to screw with married women. But I think there's something much more that we didn't know, because Jenn was saying, do you really want to say what happened at that party? Watch it, Tamra. So Tamra says, what? Watch it from what? So she grabs the napkin and throws it on Jen's face, and then she storms out. And then Shannon goes to go see her, but all the other women are saying to Jenn, what are you insinuating? Are you saying that Tamra had the hots for Ryan? And she says, yeah. Jenn exposes Tamra. Tamra and her actually had an inside joke about this. Not only that, but Tamra texted Jenn one night when she was at his house and said, I'm at the Hog guy's house. Should I take one for the team? I mean, that's a lot. And to be honest, I believe Jenn. And it does make sense. But I do still think that Ryan is trouble, and I do think that she should leave him. I stand on that. And then the other ladies seem to be against what Tamra is doing, and they're trying to comfort Jenn. Everyone except Heather. So Emily, again, round 2, says to Heather, okay, Heather, enough with this phony friendship. So now it's Emily and Gina saying that they think that that Heather is scared of Tamra, and that's why she doesn't want to say anything to her, and that she is up her behind. And then Gina takes the opportunity to say to Heather that I've been questioning our friendship, to be honest. She says, you sold me out to her, and I was just trying to protect you. And they're talking about the IMBD stuff. And even though Gina can be annoying, I do think she's right on this one. And then Tamra and Shannon walk back in, but Heather and Gina were in the middle of their chat, and Tamra does say to Jenn, I'm sorry for throwing the napkin, but I'm very livid. But they don't really continue to say anything because Gina and Heather were in their thing. And then Gina starts to say to Heather all of this stuff, and she brings up several moments that have bothered her that Heather has done, and Heather was listening. She wasn't being too defensive, and I think that was good. I do think that she was able to understand where Gina was coming from. And they are in the middle of this chat, and then Heather gets a message that David is getting divorced. David is Shannon's ex-husband, and Shannon already knew. She was like, oh, I already knew that. And it's really interesting because David filed for divorce the same day that he had his anniversary with Shannon. So that was crazy. So Shannon already knew, but she did get up to call her kids. And then the food comes, and the group is a little bit more calmed down now. But Tamra did switch seats with someone, so she and Jenn are very far away from each other. And that was it. So it ended pretty good. Even though they seem to be okay, I don't think that the problems have gone away. But that was it for now. And then next week, I cannot wait, you guys, because the OG from the OC is coming back, Miss Vicki Gunvalson, and I cannot wait for that. But as far as this episode, wow, when Jenn said that about Tamra, it was crazy. Wow, that changes everything. But you guys, let me know what were your thoughts in the comment section about this episode. Whose side are you on, Tamra or Jenn? And what do you think about Gina and Emily going hard at Heather and calling her out? Let me know, you guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.